Hello. So like you can see, we've moved out of our apartment. We've packed all our stuff. We are currently in a hotel room waiting for the next few hours to catch a flight. We are leaving Vietnam. And I was thinking, why don't I engage you guys with a conversation on why I came to Vietnam, the pros and cons of living and teaching here in Vietnam as an expat, some takeaways and some advice I would give to anybody who is starting a teaching job here in Vietnam. That is exactly what I'm going to talk about in this video. Let's get started. So to begin with, why I came to Vietnam. I am always looking out for places where I can easily save. And if you look around, you realize Vietnam is a country where you can afford so many things on a very moderate salary, and you can save a lot. That is if you have a very disciplined lifestyle without any luxurious way of living, and you can save a lot here in Vietnam. The cost of living here in Vietnam makes a lot of sense, and that is one of the main reasons why I came here. And then two, another very important reason why I came here is Vietnam, to get a work permit, irrespective of where you are coming from, you can get a work permit provided you provide the documents that are asked. Unlike some countries like China, for example, in China, you can't get a work permit to teach English if you are coming from a non-native English-speaking country, or if you hold a passport from a non-native English-speaking country. That is not the case here in Vietnam. Once you have all the documents needed for work permits, you'll be given a work permit, irrespective of the country or the passport you hold. So these are the two main reasons why I came to Vietnam. The cost of living here makes a lot of sense, and it is easy to get documents to work here legally. The pros and cons of living in Vietnam. I already did a video about this. You can check the description below for the video. But in summary, let me quickly talk about some of the cons. The first thing that comes to mind is traffic. Sometimes the traffic can be intense, especially during rush hour. But if you live here long enough, you can know some shortcuts to places you are going. So that's the first con you should know about. Traffic can be intense sometimes, especially during rush hour. And then two, the language. The language can be very difficult to learn. It is very difficult. In fact, to me, the language is very difficult to learn. And sometimes it becomes very difficult to get by having conversations with the locals over here. It becomes quite difficult to integrate socially if you don't understand the language. But if you live here long enough, you can pick some few words to get by. And that is what I've been doing here. I wasn't motivated enough to actively learn the language, but I was okay. I've been able to live here successfully for almost 6 years. But the language can be difficult to learn, so please take notes. What else? Another con, pollution. The pollution can be very bad. A few weeks ago, Hanoi here was adjudged the most polluted city in the world. And if you live here long enough, it becomes second nature. Sometimes you become used to it. And if you have very good immune system, like I am, you will not feel it. I've been lucky enough to not have gone to the hospital for any medical issues, apart from maybe going for medical checkup for work permits or some other documents. But I've never been to the hospital because I've been sick of any illness here in Vietnam for almost 6 years that I've lived here. But this place can be very polluted according to the data that we read online. So that is the third con. Pollution here can be intense. About the pros of living here, I've already mentioned some. It's very cheap to live here. The cost of living here is quite reasonable when you compare it to some major cities around the world. So, living here is quite reasonable. The cost of living is, affordable. And then two, there are so many beautiful places here to visit Vietnam. There are so many. Whenever I think about this, then I become very sad because I'm leaving Phu Quoc. That is my favorite island. Phu Quoc Island, to me, is the best place to be here in Vietnam. They are always developing that place. You go island hopping. The longest cable car on water in the world can be found on Phu Quoc Island. You go scuba diving, you go swimming with the fishes. It's very interesting on that island. There's so many beautiful places here to visit. That is another pro here in Vietnam. Another advantage here in Vietnam which can be an advantage anywhere in the world, is you get the opportunity to meet people from all over the world. I play football, and I do play football with people from Bangladesh, Peru, Poland, England, US, Philippines. Like, you meet so many people from all over the world, and it enriches your culture, and it gives you a sense of, international mindedness when you meet so many people and learn from their cultures. My wife is from the Philippines, and I wouldn't have met her if I didn't come to Vietnam. So another advantage or another pro here is, you get to meet so many people, and if you become lucky like me, you get to find a lifetime partner here in Vietnam. So that is another pro here in Vietnam. I don't want to talk so much about the pros and cons of living in Vietnam because, like I said, I've already made a video talking about pros and cons of living in Vietnam. But I would like to leave you with one last advantage or pro of living in Vietnam, especially if you're a teacher. In Vietnam, they celebrate Vietnamese Teachers Day, and this occasion is highly, respected by every Vietnamese here. In fact, during this Teachers Days, if you're an expat teacher or if you're a local teacher, you get so many gifts, you get so many kind words from so many people, from parents, from students, and you feel very loved during Teachers Day here in Vietnam. And it happens on the 20th of November every year. And, back home in Ghana, we don't have something like that. So being celebrated as a teacher here in Vietnam, it's something I will always cherish. So these are some of the pros and cons of living in Vietnam. Now, I don't want this video to be long. So the next thing I'll talk about is in the form of an advice. I'm trying to give an advice to myself if I were a new teacher here in Vietnam, starting a new teaching job. One thing everybody should know is that in Vietnam, you are addressed the way you dress. So if you carry yourself about as somebody who is very respectful, you respect yourself, you hold yourself to high esteem, you hold yourself to very high standards, you don't take anything that comes to you, you make sure people, remain accountable to their actions, you'll be treated as such. But if you are somebody who, takes anything that comes to them, you'll be taken for a ride. I don't want to explain a lot, but I need you to understand that in Vietnam, you will always be addressed the way you dress. Now, if I was teaching here in Vietnam, some of the new things I will do, some of the things I will do differently is I will focus on getting some certifications that will fast track me into better paying jobs, into real international schools, because I have realized that in these real international schools, you are challenged a lot, but it also comes with more benefits. And normally these real international schools or these elite international schools have benefits that so many people will, dream about. So some of the qualifications and certifications I will think about are the US teacher license or a UK QTS, and then an IB training. You can train in IBMYP, IBPYP, IBDP. You can get training in the IB, and this is what I've realized from interviews and from jobs that I've gotten in the past, that these two qualifications and certifications will fast track your move into top elite international schools here in Vietnam and around the world. So yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Why I came to Vietnam, the pros and cons of living in Vietnam, and some takeaways if you are a new teacher here in Vietnam. I want to know your thoughts about this video. Are you experiencing some of the things I mentioned in this video? Are you thinking about something different? Let me know your thoughts. Just put it in the comments, and I need to catch some sleep before my next flight. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, because I will tell you in my next video where I'm moving to, the kind of job I'm going to do, and a whole lot of stuff coming up on this channel. So subscribe, share this video, like, and yeah, especially let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you in my next video in my new destination. Peace.